have a small area for children or beginners to shoot as well. Um, they had a few key points in here. One thing kind of right off the bat, just I suppose in insurance liability legality wise, they wanted to make certain to make a change in the city ordinance that says no one is allowed to discharge a bow or firearm within city limits, and making sure to adjust the ordinance saying that except for in this park or in this general area. They had a few things that they were asking of the city themselves, or ourselves, I guess, from more the park department than anything. And it would be pretty straightforward stuff. There'd be a couple small trees that would need to come down, and I've seen them myself. They're box elder trees anyway that are in bad shape. The target storage for off-season, essentially throughout the winter, we would take the target down and store them in so they're not covered in snow and out in the elements all year. And then mowing, like we normally do.
The city would be storing the targets.
The city would be storing the targets, correct. Mowing would kind of go without saying. We mow every basically square inch of D Lagoon as it is now, so it wouldn't be much different there. I don't know exactly what they mean by minor earthwork. The minor is kind of a loaded word, I think, but I don't foresee it being too much earthwork. And then potentially some chalk lines just to designate each shooting lane, and those would maybe need to be done once a month or something like that. It's pretty minimal city involvement for the project. On the map itself, you can kind of see how they laid everything out, and there would be plenty of signage. In conversations with the police department, it sounds like there wasn't too much as far as like fencing or locked gates or anything like that they would look to require. So it would basically come down mostly to signage saying that, hey, you're about to enter the archery park. Here are the rules. Here's the direction that you should be shooting, and things like that. The big key with this whole deal is on the map itself, just beyond at the end of the range, essentially, there's a very heavily wooded area that would act as the backstop for arrows that would miss the target and go, past the target, things like that. So, I guess other information, I don't, I guess I'm not too sure what are there for questions, I guess.
Nick, could you help me place where this picture in Day Lagoon is taken? What is that building?
So what you're looking at, what you're looking at is a picture from on top, from elevated above the old farm property. So when you drive in and you passed Farmer's Field, on the left-hand side is that old farm property that sits back in kind of the wooded area there, and that cluster of trees and that building and whatnot, that's the old farm buildings that sit back there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I was looking over this, and it seems very well thought out and put together. Is there a reason for the switch from the old shooting range to Day Lagoon?
From Old Smoky?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that particular area, we looked at that with those guys last year, probably about this time last year, and the proximity of the houses was definitely a concern. And then just the terrain itself, it's very sloped as you go from like where the shooting house or whatever you want to call it, the building down in at the bottom of the hill there, as you go back towards the homes that are in that area, it's really steep going uphill, and they kind of shied away from it for those two reasons.
Yeah, I think it's nice that they're aware of and realistic of the need to change the city code, because I mean that would be a big obstacle if they want to keep this on the up and up, which I'm sure they do. So it's nice that they're aware of that and thinking about that. Does the group have any feelers out with city council members about an action like that? Do you know? Are you aware of?
I believe so. So David Sanderson and I have spoke quite a few times about the project, and I don't know if he's been in contact with one particular person, but he says he has spoke with a couple of council members and just
Okay.
spread the idea out there and take their pulse on what they're thinking, kind of deal.
David did just join, so David, if you want to add anything, go ahead.
Were there any other questions or comments or anything? Yeah, Lynn.
I'll say I like the idea of this. Growing up, I think it would be really cool to have this in town.
For sure.
Yeah. I can speak to it somewhat directly on that end too. There, just being an outdoorsman myself, there's many either just recreational archers or actual bow hunters that live around this area. So it would be great to give everyone a place to legally and by the book do practice archery where now there is nowhere to go do this and be 100% by the rules essentially.
Yeah. So is the group looking for a recommendation from us to move this up to the city council? Is that what we're looking at here?
Yes, that would be the action.
Okay,
Looking for from you guys.
Do I hear a motion to approve the archery proposal as written up to the city council for their review and potential approval?
I will make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, who did it?
Perfect.
April and Tammy.
And Tammy? Okay. Made by April.
Excellent. So yeah, like I said, I think that's a very well put together proposal. It sounds like they've thought about hopefully everything that needs to be thought about. So I wish them luck on that endeavor.
Is it a group that's organized for insurance?
If nothing else on the archery proposal, the next item on the agenda is the Fergus Falls Bike Master Plan.
There's a question that just came up here as far as insuring the archery range, and we'll just probably look into that, see what our city insurance would cover. Gene, did you want to talk anything about the funding? Okay.
I'm just upstairs from you and I can hardly hear you. I'm actually just on to observe about and hear your conversation about the archery park. Certainly Visit Fergus Falls is supportive of that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. But Dave asked me to work on some of the grant writing, so I just, as I get up to speed and follow the process of this through your approval and then city council approval, it will help me with language to in writing that grant application for the equipment. So I'm really just here in support of it and to get myself up to speed as well.
Excellent. Good luck with the grant writing.
Thank you.
Could I just say a couple words? Dave Sanders, I got on a little late, but I thank you for your support, and I just think this is going to be wonderful for the community. And Gene, I want to thank you too for your willingness to help with this. So, and Mick, thank you for all your help. So we're excited. Hopefully, the city council will move forward on it, and we're anxious to get going. Thank you.
And thank you for your work.
Thank you for bringing this to the group.
Oh, you're welcome.
I did put in the chat box a link to Google Maps that has a good overview of the park, and it doesn't have the archery park overlay on it, but you can see the proximity of that farm road and the baseball fields and, you know, where the Central Lakes Trail and the camping area is. So that's a little bit broader perspective than just the map that was included with the proposal.
Thanks, Gene.
Thank you for that link.
Yeah.
So the bike master plan?
All right, the Fergus Falls Bike Master Plan.
Yeah, Ryan Miller, he's the staff liaison to the Bike and Ped Committee, and they are going to undertake a master plan for a bike network, bicycling network throughout the city, and they are looking for a volunteer from the Park and Recreation Board to serve on that master plan committee. They'll be starting meeting maybe later this month, maybe more likely in July, and then a monthly meeting probably through the end of the year. So just wondering if there's anybody on the board that is interested and wanted to volunteer, or if we go the other route and somebody wants to nominate another member.
Can you tell us a little bit about their activities, what kind of commitment or what they're looking for?
Yeah, it'll be one meeting a month likely, and they're going to try to keep them to an hour, hour and a half, and through the end of the year probably. And they'll be working with a consultant group to just tweak and add to, well, there's never been a master plan done, but to just identify what we do have for biking networks and then add to it.
Thank you. Does anybody have interest in volunteering for that group? I think it would be a great group to be a part of. I'm not going to volunteer myself. I'm going to have some time restraints coming up. I'm a baby in a few weeks, and it will be a busy fall for me. But if anybody is interested, I encourage you to volunteer for that.
Yeah, I definitely would, but with new baby here, I probably should not get too involved with everything.
Sure. Oh, we can check with Kevin too, unless, did I see you volunteering, Lynn? Did I read your lips correctly?
That would be a big hit.
We'll check with Kevin.
Any other questions or discussion on the Fergus Falls master plan? Sorry, we didn't have a volunteer jumping out of their seats for you.
That's
Moving on to old business.
Pam is on the line. Oh, go ahead, Tammy.
I don't know if this would be old business, but just an update for the dog park. We're gonna pause doing the Bark in the Park event for obvious reasons. Did get 2 raffles from the City of Fergus Vet. So I'm wondering if to do a raffle, am I gonna have to get a city permit for like gambling? I don't, lottery kind of thing. I don't really know the.
Yeah, there would be a
Does anyone-
license you'd have to get.
Wouldn't Lynn be the person, maybe?
Yeah.
Wilson?
Yeah, you'd have to get that. And you could talk to Lynn Olson about that.
Okay. Perfect. And yeah, I think we're gonna do an event at the brewery, kind of like an all day long. We haven't really done one yet, but Chelsea has apparently to them before, so and they were kind of okay to do that. So hopefully we can kind of do a day event of just getting some drinks, raising some money. I did get a new quote with the fence. The old D Lagoon fence was rounding up, I said, $10,000. So about 13 is about half as much as what we needed before, so that's nice.
Oh yeah, real nice.
Can you say that amount again?
$13,000.
Okay.
So.
So do you have a date in mind, Tammy, then, since you're canceling it up at the RTC on the 20th? Or not yet?
Yeah, we can cancel that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually gonna do that.
Okay.
So they were able to use that stuff out by the water tower.
As far as other old business, just looking at the minutes here, update on the BMX group too. They've done some work in closing that picnic shelter, but as far as moving dirt and getting the actual track put in place, that hasn't started yet. So I'll reach out to them, see what they've got for a timeline. It was going to have to be moved by middle of June, I think. So I would think they'd be getting
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I think they'd be getting going on that pretty quick. The guys from the park department did go out there and took down all the trees for him. It really opened it up.
And then if I remember correctly, it was kind of on them to move their dirt and create the track how they want to, right?
Yep, that's correct. They were gonna do all that on their own. I had reached out to Jesse Thorstead about moving one of the tee boxes for the Frolfing course, and we went out there, looked at it, and he was going to put it out to the group, the most active members in that community, and never did hear back from him again. So that one tee box that's in question, we're probably going to just be moving that closer to the lake. And he had said when we met out on site that that was going to be okay, he thought. They had actually moved it to that spot for a tournament one time. But, yeah. That'll likely be happening here soon. Otherwise, go ahead.
One item I had for old business, this is very old business now because the tree sap season is past, but there was that inquiry of the group for tree sapping up at the RTC. If I remember correctly, we never really heard back from them, but we did notice, somebody noticed, I forget who mentioned it, that somebody was doing some tapping up at the RTC. Did anything ever come of looking into who that was, or?
I have made one phone call to the guy. I think his name is Chris Smith or Steve Smith, and didn't get a return phone call. So I'm not sure if it was him doing it or not, but we'll
Okay.
we'll try to get a process in place too, so that if that question comes up again, we'll have something.
Yeah, I think that was a really unique ask of the city, and I mean, I would like to see something be able to get off the ground if there's somebody who's willing to step behind that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just would need to have a process in place so that it's open to the citizens citywide, not to just one individual.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll work on that and probably just get something that would mirror the state's permit guidelines.
Sure. Any other questions for old business or items?
Well, I just had asked Pam if she could give an update on the rec operations programming for the summer, so she'll do that now.
Yep. So we were able to move forward with offering of our kids camp. and we did our registration in May, and within 9 minutes we were full, and went to a waiting list with all 6 sessions. So, and then we were able to get access to use the ALC lunchroom through the school, which they weren't going to allow us to use this summer, but worked with Jeff Drake and them, and we were able to do that. So we were able to add 10 more kids to each session, so we are running with between 50 to 55 kids for all of our sessions. It's a little challenging some days. We can't take field trips, you can't take a bus, and things like that, so we're kind of being creative. But so far, week 1 went really well. We have them enter through the main entrance of the arena, and they all have to have their temperature scanned, sign off on a sheet that says that they don't have all these symptoms, and then they have to wash their hands and they go upstairs to kids camp. And then the parents then exit out the door. Starting today, we are going to be opening up the back door so the parents can pick them up after 4 o'clock up there. Just because between 4:45 and 5 o'clock, we had about 25 to 30 kids leaving all at once. And you're down to about 3 or 4 staff members. So it got a little complicated at those moments. And that the parents can come in at least to the door, it'll help at least get them directed right to their parents and things of that sort. So without us having ball, we don't have as many staff members for our field maintenance and stuff. The Youth Baseball Association is moving forward with some of their stuff, having their teams practice and things of that sort out to De Lagoon primarily. And so if and when they're able to schedule games, I'm guessing we'll see some of them come across. Right now, games are considered a medium risk, and Governor's opened things up to a currently, it's at a low risk, which is kind of like tennis and golf and sports of that sort. For games, the Hurricanes and River Dogs, the adult baseball teams, they're also waiting to kind of see what the schedule can bring to start scheduling some games. We've had a couple parents kind of step up and offer to just hold some practices and skill development stuff that they're just playing around with at Broadway Field a couple nights a week. And they've just kind of opened it up. We've sent out an email to the kids of that age group that would have been playing our minors level this year. And I think one group has about 10 or 12, and the other one, he got 10 kids that want to kind of scrimmage together and play. So it's great to see some parents taking that initiative to want the kids to be doing something, even though we couldn't offer it ourselves. The campground opened on June 1st. I think it's been busier out there now. Quite a few phone calls, people inquiring. The beach, with these 90-degree days, we've gotten quite a few phone calls. So the beach is open. It is no lifeguards out there on staff, so swimming at your own risk. But people haven't really seemed to mind that part. They're just happy that they have the availability to go out to the beach. Same with our parks and playgrounds. They've been open the whole time. And then just knowing that they are not sanitized on a daily basis necessarily, or after everybody has been on them each time. But they weren't done like that beforehand either. So it's kind of like using at your own risk before, but now it just seems like it's more than ever that people make note of it. So just some of the stuff that's going on around here, still making a lot of park reservations. People are kind of getting a little more adventurous and want to get those family reunions, even if they're smaller this year, just to get people together and see family and do things. So. Other than that, that's kind of where we're at right now. And
Okay.
Any questions?
Looks like you're live finally, Lynn.
I am. I'm on my phone, you can tell.
There she is. Well, thank you for that update, Pam. It was good to hear that things are still trying to be normal out there.
Yeah.
Any other new or old business?
I have a question. I noticed that the restrooms are now open at like NP Park because the park is open. Is there been a plan to open up the water faucets, different locations, specifically around Lake Alice?
Yeah, Lynn, Mick here. Which water in particular are you talking? Like, the bathrooms at NP are open, so the water is on there. Lake Alice has remained open, so the water is on there.
I think she was asking about
There's a water, what do you call it?
The drinking
The
fountain?
drinking, the water fountain. Water fountain.
Yeah. We're trying to open, I guess, as limited as possible, but we still have some other things that we will be opening. Obviously, again, we're with the regular cleaning, trying to keep regular cleaning done. With as many places that we open, it's just going to add more and more and more. It's just something we're not used to, so we're trying to get in the groove of it. And we have a plan in place each Monday, Wednesday, Friday to get out and clean. But we have not, like say, opened up the drinking fountain there yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, and I just recommend that just because Lake Alice gets a lot of use from bikers and walkers. So
Yeah, especially lately.
Any other new or old business that anybody has any questions about? Well, at 32 minutes, this might be the quickest Park and Rec Board meeting we've had to date, at least since I've been around. If no one else has anything to ask about or bring up, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
also moved.
Is there a second?
Meeting adjourned.
Second.
Excellent. Thank you for joining today, everyone, and we're making this work remotely.
Hopefully this is the last time we have to do it this way.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody at the city who's worked extra to facilitate these types of meetings.
You bet. Thanks, Nikolai.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dangerous dog.
Yeah, that picture that Sanderson included in the packet was pretty bad, so
Yeah, I was
going to try to pull this one up. There's a
Yeah.
way to share the screen, but
Yeah,
If you wonder,
I don't
where is that area?
What's
that's behind the right field fence of Farmers Field, where the police department shoots is to the right. Campground bottom right.
Okay.
Old farm is right kind of in the center there.